broadcasting, and we are recording.
I'm also going to record on my screen.
We've got 9 people in here so far. What's up, Chelsea? Don't be nervous. No being nervous. Hey, Claire. Darian, what's going on? Eric, I thought you weren't be able to join. Eric E., welcome. Okay, Jeff Eskridge joined the class kind of late, but he is caught up and he is ready to go. All right, we're getting a little bit of echo. Could be from laptop audio, maybe?
Not from me.
Okay. All right, Kyle. We got 2 Kyles. We got Kyle Daly and Kyle Ellison. What's up, guys? Mr. Andrew Mourner, hello. Abby, good to see you. Abby, I hope you're ready to present. Claire, I don't think I got your note. All right. So we're going to do this a little bit out of order, guys. Let's see. I'm going to pull up my list of people. The first up is William Weigel, but I don't see him in the class yet. So we'll move on to our next candidate, Miss Chelsea Trosper. So Chelsea, what I'm going to do is I'm going to promote you to a panelist. And she's going to be rejoining here in a second. Hey, Chelsea. Or you might have to join with your audio.
Yep, I think I got it all set up.
Awesome. Okay. So while you're getting ready, we're going to need you to share your screen. So yes. Pull up your presentation. There should be a share screen button right in the middle of the lower part of the screen. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get the next candidate ready. I believe that is Claire. And just to recap, you guys are going to be able to present your Stylescape revisions to Chris as if Chris is a stakeholder in your company or your client's company. And you'll have 6 minutes to walk him through what you've created. And then he's going to review and kind of help you improve your presentation notes. So before we really dig in, Chris, do you want to say anything? Chris is muted. Hey, gents, I think Chris is still muted, and I cannot unmute him.
I don't know what your plan was. People can't hear me. We got a problem.
Now we can hear you.
Now you can hear me. So whatever you did, Aaron,
okay,
we're
so
good.
I'm in control of your Zoom right now. That's what's happening. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, everybody. Happy Friday. I just want to say before you present, I want to revise the time limit rule here. You're not going to spend 6 minutes talking about this. If you spend 6 minutes, you're doing something wrong. Try to say what you want to say in less than a minute and a half, because what you want to do is you want to listen to the other person. You want to gauge feedback. And if we have 10 participants at 6 minutes each, including the feedback, that's going to make this a 2-hour call. And we're not going to want to do that. You guys are not going to be able to stomach that. So just collect your thoughts, try to get what you need to say, and realize that a minute's worth of talking is a really long time to speak. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to censor yourself. I want you to be here right now. Don't worry about anything. The purpose of you presenting this work is to get feedback from a prospective client, and I will play that role happily. It's not to impress anybody. It's not to sound smart or razzle-dazzle with your design vocabulary. That's not what it's about. Present it, guide them through the journey, and then step back and listen. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a little breathing exercise that I like to do before a big important call, okay? However you want to breathe, through your nose, through your mouth, doesn't matter. I want you to inhale deeply, push it all the way down your body into your diaphragm. I want you to hold it there for a second, and then slowly release it, okay? You want to oxygenate the blood. We want to be ready for battle. We want to be smart, alert, and we don't want to tense up. When we tense up, we tend not to breathe, and this is really important for you to breathe. I know it sounds really crazy to remind you to do something that you do every single day without any effort. So let's breathe in. One more time. If you do that so many times, you'll start to feel a little high, believe it or not. Okay, Chelsea, you're up to bat. So the time starts now.
Okay, great. Okay, so first of all, I just want to thank you so much for taking time to sit down and talk with me this evening. As I recapped our previous discussions, I noticed a trend of a few key words, and that was modern, bold, and trusted. I'd like to introduce you to Life in Lemons. Life in Lemons is a stylescape inspired by laughing at life's hardships, because when life gives you lemons, throw them at your haters. Let's take a closer look. Our female focused blogger on the left is all about sharing laughter in life, but also touches on the real. She's honest about her ups and downs and is a tough love aficionado. We wanted to mix her sense of handcrafted humbleness with her refined sense of self. Here you'll see examples of design direction, clean lines, minimal distraction, but with a homemade touch. Some key elements we included were a bright pop of color and handwritten elements blended with a modern and sleek design. This concept is carried through a potential advertisement design and business cards. We want your first impression to be impactful and memorable. While the card design may be minimal and modern, embossing your name into the 100% cotton card will allow your clients to see you stand out with something unique, unexpected, but pleasantly delightful and environmentally conscious. As we move to the right-hand side of the board, you get a better sense of the curated environment our hero surrounds herself with. No-nonsense quotes, pops of color, and an eclectic style balance an otherwise clean and neutral palette. I just want to, sorry, got ahead of myself. Thank you again for taking time out of your evening to sit down and talk with me.
Hey, you did a great job, Chelsea.
Oh my
Good
God.
job. Is it Chelsea or is it Chelsea?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. All right. Sorry, I see extra syllables there. You did a great job. I got a lot of questions for you. And Erin, next time, if we can, just want to prep you for the next one. If we can split screen the presenter with what she's presenting, if we can manage that, that'd be fantastic. I just want to prep you for that. Let's take a look at the stylescape, and I want to ask you a bunch of questions, okay?
Okay.
So let's go ahead and touch on the overall stylescape. Okay, let's take a look at that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. There's a couple of questions, Chelsea. Did you read something, or is just your freestyling?
Okay, so I wrote all this today.
You wrote it, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I was so nervous. I've been saying like.
Okay, why are you nervous? Talk to me. Why are you nervous?
I mean, I'm gonna like cry.
No, don't cry. What's going on?
No, like honestly, just like being here and like having the opportunity to talk to all of you guys. Like, I mean, it's just not something that I would have ever like. It's not a position I ever saw myself in, and it just means a lot like to even be here. So I'm just really excited, but like also intensely nervous.
Okay. If I were in physical proximity to you, I'd give you a big hug right now. Just tell you it's okay. Okay? We're here to help you, and we're just so glad that you showed up. Showed up in every sense of the word, meaning you're here, you're present, you put your heart and energy into this, and you took the time and energy and effort to write something. That's fantastic. Okay? So big hug to you right now. You did a really good job. Now, I do want to say a couple things. I noticed that when you're presenting, oftentimes when we're presenting via Zoom call, because a lot of times I'm not in person, sometimes they just do this via voice and then they're looking at some other screen and we're walking them together. It's important that you do make eye contact with me because you need to read me, right? Even though you can't really technically see me right now, it's really important that you look right at the camera and just trust that how you make somebody feel is more important than the words that you choose or if you stumble and all that kind of stuff. We often feel like we have to deliver it perfectly. And in the delivery of the words themselves, there's no feeling behind it. And that's what I wanted to do is to feel what you feel, to feel your excitement. And it's just like, I can't wait to talk to you, all that kind of stuff. All right. So what I'm going to do right now, since you did such a good job and I have a little time to burn, thankfully, because you were so just Johnny on the spot or Jane on the spot, is I remember seeing this from before. Mm-hmm. I liked all the tweaks. This is perfect. The stylescape itself, from a layout, is nearly perfect. and I would pay you money to make one of these things for me. Okay. So, and I don't say that. Okay. So if you guys present something that sucks, you will not hear that from me. Okay. And I have some little bits of advice here and there. But before I do that, I just want to break it down. There's good flow. This person feels like a person that I would know. Doesn't feel generic stock. She's doing something. She's laughing, big teeth and hair. She looks like she's mixed ethnicity. I can't place who she is. And I just like that. And it feels like consistent. I'm scanning from left to right. I don't see anything that jumps out that's weird to me. I think I even see an image from Timothy Goodman's apartment. I'm not sure if that's his or not.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's all bringing that stuff together. Okay. The one thing I was going to say here is in terms of like where we wanted to tighten this up, where it says modern, bold, trusted, and there's Greek text underneath it, try to find a poem, a quote, something. That's an extra little pizzazz you throw on there. So it's just not meaningless text. Because anything that you can do on your frame, your stylescape to make it come to life, those little touches, the little flourishes, your clients are going to appreciate them. And they're like, oh my God, you even put that in. And that came from my Instagram feed like last week. So Chelsea's really on top of it. She gets us wholeheartedly and they buy into it all. And this is a romance game. You want them to fall in love with their own brand and you're the facilitator. You're the matchmaker. You're just showing them their ideal life partner in a visual stylescape. And you've done a really good job. Some questions now, some critical things I want to ask you about. So I see that there's a mix of hand-drawn type and really clean design. I'm not seeing a lot of those two things living together. I see one, I see the other, right? So you see on the far right, the self-care includes getting rid of toxic friends, toxic A friends. It would be nice to actually put in some sans serif typeface in there, some body copy or so. Like I know how those two things work together.
Okay.
I want to see the integration. So your job as a designer is to merge those worlds together. You've done really nice jobs at putting color in and putting enough black and white and gray. It feels neutral. It's got good contrast all around. And the little bits of yellow that you throw in with the number 2 and the vertical bars really help to break up the grid and give me some visual movement across the frame. And this is a very nice thing I want to point out to everybody that's looking at this right now. You see the women, that little POC pop of color? It goes down to the modern bold trust. It goes back up to the bar of color, drops back down to the 2. It goes behind the cap with the yellow circle, the vertical bar, and the chunk of type in the right corner, little angular wedge of color there. That's how you want it. You want it to zigzag. You want it to flow like this letter S that goes up and down, the sine wave. And that's how you want to do it. It's like musical notes dancing across the screen. And it makes my mind smile. It's a visual treat, and that's what you want to do. Okay. Now, this wasn't about critiquing the stylescape, but since we have a little time, that's what I'm going to do. I want to now critique your presentation style and the words that you chose and all that. Okay. Now, usually when you go to present, I want you to make it conversational. This is not like, ladies and gentlemen of the board and the design team and on behalf of the United. No, it's not like that at all. So your whole thing should be like, hey, so happy to talk to you. I'm thrilled to be showing you my stylescape today. I want you to smile when you talk. It changes the way you sound, okay? Yeah. I want you to smile when you talk. I just want you to have a conversation. And usually when you're showing the stylescape, it's not the first time we're talking. We did the stylescapes. We did the brand attributes together. We talked about the brand and objectives. So it's like, hey, Mary, hey, Chris, so happy to talk to you. We have a stylescape here, and here's what I want you to do. I just want you to sit back and relax. I'm going to walk you through this. And just keep in mind, these were done fairly quickly. It's very intentional in the images I put together, but feel free to kind of pick out parts that you like and be sure you tell me the parts that you don't like, because that's the whole point of this. This is the stage in which we want to make changes together. All right, let's jump into it. You ready? Then, it's conversational.
Yeah.
And you have to give them some kind of framing. You have to prime them for what I'm looking for. If you say, this is it, it's super tight, and you can't change a single thing. So if we don't love that exact shade of yellow, I hate everything, right? So we have to open it up, right? I put a lot of energy and effort into this, but the beauty of the stylescape is anything can change. And I want you to love your brand. Let me take you through it. Based on the user profile we built, this is our girl. Meet Patricia. She's XYZ. She's a Gen X or Gen Zer. She's a blah, 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 blah. She loves these things, and that's why this might be her apartment in the Lower East Side. She has the eclectic taste of art, and that's what we want to do. We want to reflect that world in the soundscape. Big, chunky, hand-drawn typeface, something that's very lyrical, mixed in with that clean sans serif typeface that gives that a balance of carefree, but also like very considered. We're going to ride that line because that, for us, is modern, bold, and trusted. Okay?
Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay, just remember that. Now, I have no power over you. You have power over me, believe it or not. You paid for this course.
I did.
You are my customer. You understand that? You are my customer, and I exist to serve you. I exist to make you a better, more powerful, confident, creative human being who's going to achieve their value in the world. So when it comes to talking to a client, that's going to be a lot tougher because they have power over you now. They hold the money, they hold the decisions, they hold the praise, they hold the approvals. So what you have to do is you have to remember, just let all that stuff go. Every time you breathe in confidence, exhale stress, exhale expectation, anticipation, attachment. Just throw that all out. Just here to have a conversation with my buddy who happens to be a rich client. That's all. Just another day. That's all. Sun comes up, sun goes down. It's just another day. Okay?
All right.
All right. You did a great job. So, Chelsea, set the bar pretty high. Do you have any questions for me before we move on?
No. I'm just going to absorb all of this and take it all in.
Okay. Absorb away and bask in your glory. Okay?
Okay.
Good job, Chelsea.
Hey,
Woo!
Whoa. Reach out your hand here. Just reach up your hand and raise your right hand and then smack the camera. That's our high five. In it. There we go. That's the best I can do. Okay?
I appreciate it.
All right. It was kind of a lame virtual high five, but that's what I can do. And when I'm in your neck of the woods, we'll do it for real. Okay, Mr.
Okay,
Burns,
guys.
next on deck.
Next on deck, we have Abby. So, Chelsea.
Abby, I see her. Yes, Abby. Of course, Abby. How you doing, Abby?
All right. Let's see.
You need
Hi.
Out of here, and
No.
Abby is live. Okay, so before we get into it, Aaron, just one note. I'm going to mute Chris's audio when Abby's presenting. That way, there's not duplicate Abby coming through.
Okay.
Well, let's double check that you can mute me because I'm not even on.
I can.
Hi. Hello.
Okay.
Oh, he can't hear me. Okay.
Okay. Abby, take it away. Next up is Ty. I'm going to promote you.
Okay, let me just share my screen.
Yeah, when you share your
hang on 2 seconds. I've got it all set up and then I can't find the button. So let me go to. Oh, sorry. I had it all set up and now it's not doing it. Okay, 2 seconds. All right, saying it's failed to start the screen sharing. Is that? Hang on. Sorry.
No worries.
Am I failing already? Hang on. It's okay. It just keeps giving me an error message. So hang on. 2 secs while I just do that and do that. So that's ready to go. Okay. And then for some reason I'm not seeing a share screen button now. It was just giving me an error.
Okay. I'm going to message you, and in the meantime,
no, it's back.
Ty, are you ready to go?
Okay, hang on. 2 secs. No, it's all right. It's doing.
You got it?
No, I'm ready now. It's okay. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Okay. Sorry, every time I click it, I was, and now I'm not. Okay, I'm just going to have to do it in that kind of view. So 2 seconds, it just won't let me do full screen. So, okay, sure. Okay. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can you see it? Good. Okay, sorry it's in this view, but it won't let me do the full screen without giving me an error message. So welcome to your Stylescape review. Great to see you. How are you doing? I can't actually see anyone to talk to. Give thumbs up. Okay, so today we're going to talk through some of the things we referred to in the discovery session when we did your review of brand attributes and things. I'm going to show you the style scope I've put together this week for you, and hopefully you'll love it. If you don't love anything about it, then let me know. All of it can be changed. It can be, you know, it's very flexible, and I want you to kind of fall in love with every part. So I'll walk you through it and we'll see what you think. So last week when we spoke, we talked about your brand attributes, and the three that we decided on were quirky, bold, and eclectic. Now, the reason I chose these is you felt your branding at the moment was a little bit inconsistent. It wasn't very unique. You wanted to kind of attract a client that had a little bit more of a unique sort of a uniqueness in life. They want to be seen as a little bit different. They want to be seen as having kind of a variety of backgrounds and being this kind of worldly person. So meet Sarah, your ideal client. So she is, she's an online business coach. She has the laptop lifestyle, if you want to call it that. You can see her here in the coffee shop, having a cappuccino, doing some work, classic pose for an online coach here. So I know we talked about colour schemes and everything when we saw you last, but I've done this in a sort of green, grey and neutral colours. Now the green I feel is quite a quirky and yet unique colour, but also quite bold, and you don't often see green in much of the branding in the coaching world. So it's kind of doing something a little bit different. Now, if we go through it segment by segment, the first section here, so you can see, I know you talked about something being kind of like your device for the brand. So I've looked at sort of bees and those kind of almost like a botanical illustration, because I do feel that gives an eclectic vibe and is also quite quirky and different. So I've used that throughout, and also used the cheese plant here and some other botanical features to kind of stick with that almost nature theme, because I know you mentioned that and we decided that your client was also very kind of ethical and like to you know, support holistic causes, etc. So up here we've got some textures that I've used. Some of that has got some gold in as well, which I felt also kind of gave that a bit more of a high-end feel. It's quite bold, but again, patterns and things that are a little bit quirky. The second half shows, you can see Sarah a bit better there. There's some business cards designed just here, and if we go back, you can also see some of the cards here. I'll show you that in more detail when we go to the full screen again. And again, some different designs that I've used. You can see I've just mocked up a brand pharmacy monogram there that you could use, and also the logo. We've kind of played around with that too. This could be Sarah's office. You know, it's light, it's breezy, it's quite bold, but it's also a bit quirky, and you can see all the different things she has with her rucksack from her travels and things like that. So there we go. Again, you can have a better idea of some of the stationery here. And thank you for letting me run through that with you. Look forward to having a chat afterwards, and let me know what you feel.
Good job, good job. Ben, can people hear me now? All right. Abby, good job, good job. Okay, deep breath. How did you feel? How'd you feel?
Sweaty palms. Yeah.
Now, you're a pro-member veteran.
Yeah.
Why are you scared?
Yeah. I don't know, just because anything putting yourself in a different situation makes you feel a bit scared, doesn't it? So it does. Okay. It's normal. And when you've got something invested in it, i.e. I want to do a good job and I want to learn, and
yes,
you know, that's if you're not nervous, then you probably don't care as much as you do. I don't know.
That's one way to justify nervousness. Okay. So I do want to say this a little bit. This is not a mindset coaching session. This is a really stylescape session, but I can't help myself here. But your happiness is inversely proportionate to expectation, right? So if you expect to do something, those anticipation, what you want, and that's kind of where that's going to take you out of your game. Okay. I noticed in the presentation, it felt like you were kind of rushing, and I could feel your nerves a little bit. And it's okay to feel nervous, but you gotta empty that out, because it translates like, oh, maybe I should be nervous, right? When you're happy, I'm happy. When you're tense, I'm tense. So we do mental mirroring. That's really important for you to do. You have to believe in your design and your taste.
Mm.
So whenever I do a stylescape, I'm not calling for a meeting. I'm not presenting anything unless I personally think it's the bomb, that I love it myself. And I'll walk in there kind of 6 inches higher than I normally have. 6 inches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's look at your design. And can we hide some of the junk on the side so we can see more of your design?
Let's look.
Yeah, see, it works.
Yeah, it does now. We just wasn't doing it when I
Okay,
was.
step through it, please. Get into the stylescape, the full stylescape, please.
Yep, there we go.
I'm stuck on thank you. Oh, there we go. Okay, all right. This is a great design. It's very cohesive. I like the tasteful uses of color, negative space, the gray tones, all very nice. The one desire I have here is I just want to see more. Just want to see more typography and example, just so I can fall in love with all of it. When you have her studio, there's a lot of images in there, and I don't know what to look at. I don't know what I'm supposed to love. Am I supposed to love the whole layout? What do you want to tell me as the client about this image? Is it the hand-scraped wood floors that have been pickled in white? Is it the leather bag? So it's a mixture of leather and wood and natural materials and plants and botanicals and pressings. So this is a really amazingly rich visual language to pull from. The botanical illustrations, which I don't see any of here in any kind of size, and you mentioned it. You know, the scientific drawings of coral and fish and insects, those are beautiful. And usually when you see those, there's Latin names for them in figure A, B, 1C, you know. So introducing some of that visual language might be really nice, right? So maybe bring some of that in, and you can maybe have a three-dimensional object lay in here. So I like the dimensionality of the B and then translating into other things. And here's how I would suggest that you present this in the future, okay? This goes to everybody. When you talk about colors, just naming the color will help you out a lot. Okay, so let's talk about that bright green. Instead of saying bright green, what would you call that?
Emerald.
Emerald. And what about the dark green?
Like a forest green, maybe?
Forest, see? You're good at this.
I know.
What about that kind of like that light gray color? What would you call that?
Taupe. I don't know. Beige.
Oh, okay. Like, you can call it putty.
Yeah.
You know what
mink.
you do?
How about mink?
Mink? Okay. I don't know what that looks like, but yes.
Mink? Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what you want to be able to do. So you go to the paint store, everybody, and you get one of those paint fans. And companies spend a lot of time naming things. Like they have, like Swiss Mocha is white. Really? Right? So you can come up with names too. And that's a little trick that Brian Collins reaffirmed with me, because the MailChimp yellow is a type of banana yellow. So they just named it whatever. Instead of calling it yellow, they call it Chiquita, but it's not Chiquita. It's a different brand of yellow, right? Different brand of banana. So do that. So when you get into it, really just capture their imagination. We talked, I came back. Here's a color palette that I think suits your brand really well. This emerald green with a forest, a really kind of muted gold, so it's not too gaudy. Whatever, mink gray and charcoal black, whatever it is, just desert storm, whatever it is you want, just come up with a name. So everybody's like, yeah, nice. I'm liking my own colors now. And what I want you to do is not just talk about the design, but what the design's going to do for them. So these metallic hues inside the thing that has, I don't know, what is that? Is it like a jewel box or something? It looks like glass, gold trim right above.
Yeah, it's actually like a stained glass art.
Stained glass, yeah. So you will talk about that. And you can say, I'm thinking about using hits of like a hot foil gold stamp as a decorative element, or just to call out certain things. Like, oh, yeah, I can see that. You know, I want to see these kind of materials. So just describe them and how they're going to apply to the things that you're going to make together. I see these leaves, and it could be good for.
It's amazing.
So, you know the leaf pattern that's right above the illustrated bee on the left third? Mm-hmm. Looks like bed sheets or something. Yep. What were you going to use that for?
Yeah.
Why'd you show me that?
Yeah.
Why did you show me that?
I just like the sort of texture of it, and the kind of, it looks like a gemstone in the background almost, with the sort of it's kind of looks like malachite, if you know what malachite looks like. It's a green sort of banded stone.
Do not. I do not.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. Yeah.
so there looks to be like a bed sheet, right?
Okay.
And right next to the, unfortunately, I don't have control of your thing and I can't write on it right now, but maybe I can write on this. Can I do that? No, I can't. Okay. Anyway, the thing that looks like a bed sheet, I don't want you to tell me why you like it. I want you to tell me why the clients should like it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm talking about is just so everybody's clear. There's a black background with a little golden bee right on top of it, right? A graphic one. Right above it is this pattern of a palm frond or some kind of leaf, right? And it's repeating. It looks like a bed sheet kind of folded over. Everybody knows what I'm talking about right now, right? It's next to the stained glass.
Yes, that is a bed sheet. Sorry, I was
okay,
looking.
it is a bed sheet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
I
talking
was looking at something different, but that is a sheet. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
what I want to say is when you show me that, you can say, you know, we could use this for tissue paper. So like when we send our clients a gift, or that could be the inside of an envelope or a package. So there's different layers of appreciating this design. I want you to fill the imagination gap with your words. Why are you showing it to me? Not why you like it, but how can we use this? And you know, here's the cool thing. These are words and we don't have to even commit to them. We don't get a reaction from the client. No problem. Like, wow, they gasp, slow down. Talk to me a little bit more about that. Lean in. No, they don't like that. Just keep moving. Just glide right along. No issue there. So overall, beautiful design, well integrated, breaks up the grid, nice hits of color and natural elements and design. I just want more. I want more. I want more materials. I want signage. I want more typography. I want a graphic system so I can see this thing live and breathe like my future brand is in front of me. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Very good, Abby.
Woo!
Thanks. Woo! Oh.
Good job, Abby.
Everybody, you got to just take a deep breath. It's okay. So here's what we're going to do. For the next person who is Ty, I believe. Ty?
Yeah, Ty.
Ty, you heard the comments. I know it's hard to process all these things in real time. I just want you to explain to me as a friend would explain to another friend what we could do together. That's all I want you to do. So everybody's got the nerves. Get rid of your expectations. Just be here. Just have a conversation. Don't worry about the words. Don't worry that you have to talk nonstop without taking a breath. That's not really necessary.
You can take a breath.
All right, so Ty's up next, and then after Ty, we've got William. And so you guys get ready. And Ty, whenever you're ready, you take it away. There should be a share screen button. Should be like right at the middle of your screen right there. There we go.
We're here. You can hear me?
1 second. Let me pin this guy.
Can you hear me fine right now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay. Thanks for having me. You guys first. I'm talking to you guys first. Thanks for having me. Just to give, excuse me, a little bit of context. This was for a client of mine. This is the first time I did this process with a client, and I'm showing this to you guys. After showing it to him, he loved it, which is awesome, and I'm happy for that. And I didn't really change the vibe board. Well, I call it a vibe board, but I didn't really change the stylescape from the first time I sent it to you. So now, besides some changes, some text, but I did make this presentation, as you said, from the last critique. So I'm going to address my client now. His name is Michael. So Michael, thank you for having me. Thanks for coming through this process with me for the first time. I'm excited to work on this because I feel like we share similar passions. So based off the first meeting, our discovery call, we dived real deep into your brand. I got some real good insight into what you're doing, and I got some real good insight into your vision and where you see your brand going. And once again, I'm just excited to be a part of it. What this is I call this a vibe board that we're about to walk through. Everything we learned from the first meeting is boiled down into a vibe board. It's very similar to like a mood board. I learned it from a branding expert, named Chris Doe. He's a really handsome guy and really great expert in branding. He works with some of the biggest brands in the world. So I learned this process from him, and it's just a segue from learning about your business to coming to the design. So instead of just learning about your business and just, here's what I think it should look like, or here's a design, instead of doing that, we take one step at a time and we say, all right, here's the vibe that I believe I'm getting from your brand. And here's a vibe that I believe your brand should be giving off to its audience. So based off your purpose and based off your audience, I believe this is the vibe you should be giving off with your brand. So before we get into the actual design, I pulled some imagery from around the web. I did a little bit of design, but most of this I'm going to show you is from the internet and images curated to put together a vibe per se that your brand should be giving off. So your company is called Experience Real, and essentially, just to catch up, you are you consider yourself a conscious rapper that is also on a social justice movement. You want to inspire people in the urban community and uplift them. Right now, you plan on doing that as a conscious rapper with lyrics and music and whatnot, and you plan on using, music sales in that part of your brand. You plan on using that to reach and inspire your audience, which is the urban community and people that are dreamers and feel like they're not really, feel like they're neglected probably in the world. And you're kind of wanting to start a revolution per se for this community that I also come from. So that's another reason why I'm passionate and I love this project. So we started with 3 words essentially to put this together and for you, and that was inspiring, urban, and creative. We're here at these first 3 words. I really like the bold lettering that's for your brand that I feel like would be perfect because it's, you're bold, right? You're bold and you're edgy, it's sharp, and also you have the urban aspect of it with the graffiti. So I believe that's, these things work synergetic to display your brands, represent your brand. So here's a kind of like a mission statement we came up with to get some more direction on your brand, and I believe it's perfect for what you're doing. And this mission reads, dedicated to spreading love and integrity in environments that lack positive images. So I feel like I love this. It's kind of words that you said to me that I kind of just spliced together, and I feel like this is the best way in a short slogan, in a short phrase that we can describe your brand to somebody. And here is the actual vibe board in its entirety. We're going to zoom in here in a second to kind of look at the first the left half of it and then the right half of it. But here's it in its entirety, and here's kind of the vibe I believe your brand's giving off. The first thing you're probably going to notice is the 3 gentlemen that are in the foreground. They are what we call archetypes. And what they are is, and again, like I said in the first call, the purpose of this is we're not making a brand for you. We're not making this brand. It's not for you, right? It's for your audience. It's for your consumers. So this is just a reminder of these are the people that are going to be seeing your brand. These are the people that are going to be experiencing your brand. And you should think of that when we go through this process. So these are the 3 people that will be experiencing this once it comes to life. And they all together represent the community that you're focused on. Like you said in our call, that your audience is definitely ranges a lot from preteens to older gentlemen, middle-aged gentlemen that pretty much come from the same communities that you come from and are inspired by motivational music and not like the new age rap or music that's just degrading, right? So these are the archetypes. Let's look at the left side of this. We have the first archetype that I kind of worked off of, and he's more so probably your main demographic of people around your age, your mid-20s, late 20s. That's clearly he's woke. He has the light bulb on his shirt, so he's clearly your demographic, right? And he's just a cool guy, right? And he's here about a city you see on the right side. He's in a busy environment, and we're using this imagery that you see around him. We're using this to stick out in this environment, so that you're kind of gaining this guy's attention, and then you're leading him into your brand experience with your music and with your imagery and with your message. And I feel like somebody like him would resonate with all this put together. You have your slogans on the left side. You have the vibe board for Experience Real. That's your name of your company. I like this graffiti here. This is a custom font that I found that I think would be great to use along with your brand. You can, everything that's here is really just kind of the vibe I believe you should give off. If at the end of this, if you feel like there's some things you don't like about it or don't, we'll walk through it together. but let me just show you all of it. I've got some colors down here by the left just to show you what I think would pop together for your brand. These are the colors that I think would work. This first part right here, real life, that you see, this is part of one of the marketing strategies or slogans I believe you could use. Real life, and then on this other side you see real love, real revolution. Those three things together, real life, real love, real revolution, I feel like those go great together, and could be a good way you could market on like a billboard or online or something. So you mentioned people of your audiences are in the city, and you also mentioned that you love Afro Samurai anime, and also the synergy of anime and now how it's becoming more popular in the urban community.
Ty, can I interrupt real quick? You're taking too long to get through this.
I'm sorry.
You got to speed this up. We're almost out of time now.
Okay, I'm done pretty much. So
wrap it up.
You mentioned this rabbit here. You mentioned like that because that is your Chinese zodiac, and you feel like the rabbit shows that you're cunning and agile in this environment. And I believe this rabbit could become a rabbit. Your own personalized rabbit could become a symbol for your revolution, a symbol for an inspiring image in the community. So these are other two archetypes in the field that we're trying to get here with the graffiti, with the splatter. The reason why we have these letters over here, because I feel like outside of the graffiti, you also can use a simplified letter mark, which probably just the E and a R or something like that we could do. So we're going to talk through that. Here's the whole vibe board all together once again. And thanks for having me. Thanks for looking through this with me. And I'm looking really excited to get into the full logo design. This is just a concept we kind of came across right now, so we can kind of talk through this.
All right. Good job, man. Good job. All right. Okay. A couple of things. You saw that in the first two presenters, both with Abby and Chelsea. You gotta tighten this up. You gotta tighten it up. I know you just presented this to your client and they loved it, so it should be really easy for you to explain it again without having to go into all that stuff. So I'm gonna really mostly, with the time that I have left with you, mostly focus on your presentation. I'm gonna just quickly hit the keynote or the presentation deck. I like that you're integrating the design elements. You can see also in the comments that people are talking about the splatters and how you're integrating it all into the visual language throughout. Sometimes those things can be a little distracting on the stylescape itself. So I would just ask you to back off on that, like by 30%. I get it for everything else, right? So it's like spraying everywhere. I get it. You're integrating everything. Okay. Couple of really quick things. I noticed in the very beginning, when you talk for a really long time and the slide hasn't changed, you're going to lose me. You're going to lose me as you level up and you work with bigger budget clients, and especially people who have power, influence, and fame. They don't have a lot of time. You don't need to sell it. And the more that you try and sell something, the more I start to get like, hey, just show me the work. Just show me the work. Let's get into it, right? And so you did like 2 or 3 things that I don't think you need to do. You explained to me it was a vibe board, but that's kind of like a mood board. But then you learned it from this other guy. You normally wouldn't say all that stuff, right? I know you're just doing it for camera right now.
Of course.
But you don't need to talk about me or where you learned it from. Just own it, talk about it, tell them what it's for, and just move on. Really, we're here to see and celebrate the design and get feedback going, right? Yeah. That's what you want to do. So if you talk too much, you're not going to be able to read the person.
Understood.
Okay, so that's the biggest tip I have for you is a little setup and then really get into the meat so you can talk about all the little parts and pieces. And one of the things that you said during this presentation was the name of your company is, and maybe you're just doing it for our camera so that I know, but you would never tell the client what the name of the company is because they already know. They already know. It's like, hey, Mr. John, your name is John. I'm like, yes, I know. I get it, right?
Correct,
so a couple other little things here. You have, is it called Real or Rio? How do you say it?
Yeah, Real. It's Real.
Okay.
It's Real.
Yeah. I don't think I want to see it 4 times. It's like precious real estate you have here.
Mm-hmm.
Like experience real life, real love, real revolution. I get that that's a campaign idea, right? Those things could just be grouped together, like stacked on top of each other, much smaller, real life, real love. And then you got to talk about that, how that could be this living, organic, breathing identity system that it works for all their sub-brands, real life, real love, real revolution, all the different campaigns they're trying to launch. I think that's a smart play, but spreading it across just takes a very precious real estate that you just don't have time to deal with, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I want you to know this. You arrive confident, fully ready to talk about your work. don't take too long to get to it, because it makes me feel, and I know this is not the case, it makes me feel like you're not confident about the work. Go ahead and talk about it. Let them dive in. Invite them into the conversation. From time to time, check in. How are we feeling about this? Did I get this part right? And then move on. Okay?
Yeah, appreciate the advice, Chris.
Okay, very good, Ty. All right. Who's up? Who's up next, Ben?
Next up, we have William.
William.
Mr.
Weigel.
William Weigel.
Now, please, guys, don't turn off your camera if you can avoid it, because Aaron will cut to you. So keep your cameras on, please, right, Ben?
Yeah, yep. Now, after William, we have Sabrina. So, Sabrina, look for that invite coming through in a second.
Yeah. I saw this comment from Kyle. You guys just talk to me like I'm the client, because it's really weird that you're talking to this other person, but I'm sitting here right in front of you. Just treat me like the client. Just say Chris, because that's who I am. Mm-hmm. You get a chance to get that starring role in the high school theater that you never got. So act a little bit.
All right. So, William, if you will, go ahead and share your screen. It'll be at the bottom of the screen right in the middle. And then, Sabrina, you want to join audio, and I am going to mute you during this presentation. And so whenever we see William's screen come across, we'll launch in.
There we go. It's coming up.
There it is. Okay.
Slide on it. Give him a second before you go.
1 second. I want to get it straight.
Is my echo okay, guys?
William, if you'll give a little sample of your audio.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Better. So, Chris, I'm going to leave you audio on.
Are you guys waiting for me, or are you trying to get something set up?
Think we're good to go.
Oh.
Yeah?
I'm getting the thumbs up.
I'm getting the thumbs up too. And I think we're ready. Aaron, give me a thumbs up if you're ready.
Yeah, we're good. Let's do it.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay. Good afternoon, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to meet with me today. I'm looking forward to sharing what we came up with after meeting for a few discovery sessions and learning more about your brand. It's really exciting what you have in store for your community with this new restaurant, the Source Kitchen. I'm looking forward to sharing what we came up with, the visual representation of who you are as a brand and how you're hoping to enrich your community with this new restaurant of yours. So the things that we distilled from the discovery sessions with you, learning more about who you are and your brand and what you want to stand for and represent, were sustainable, holistic, and clean. And I'm going to share with you a stylescape today for the Creative Sage. So here you have one of the client personas we covered on the Creative Sage. Her name is Laura. She is out in her community. She's visiting a local organic farm and picking up some produce that she's going to use for a meal with her family later that night. She's very connected with her community and is very passionate about holistic and sustainable lifestyle. And that's really what you mentioned, that you're really trying to hone in with this restaurant, and that's going to be what is going to help you stand out in your community. So we'll dive in to see this a little bit closer here, if I can. Oh, there we go. Great. So on the far left side here, we have an example of what some signage might look like. For right out front, we have this wonderful older building with some beautiful ivy greenery on the side to play into the natural environment. And in the color palette, we're exploring some what I what I imagined would be like a midnight sky blue. We're really trying to create a peaceful environment. And then we have this very earthy red, clay brown, and a very neutral and calming ivory and gray color as well. We wanted to create an example for you to see of what like a very clean mark might look like, with a little icon that we can incorporate here into the signage. And we selected for your primary typeface in this example, it's this very rough hewn type that was used to develop and be etched into stone and to wood. So a very lasting and legacy typeset. We'll take a look at the next section here. We're looking at some beautiful textures and the type of food that you're going to be serving. This is the farm to table restaurant you mentioned. Locally sourced food in season that's really going to be inspiring and delicious for each season. It's going to be fresh and clean sourced organic farms. We have, and I loved this, why I picked this image of the eggs on this texture is that we could envision this being a texture that could be used in your restaurant for some seating possibly. And the colors of, if you remember from the previous slide, of these eggs are inspired by, the colors are really connected to the food that is in your restaurant. Down below here we have an example of what a menu might look like. We incorporated the secondary typeset in here for this with some badge work that can really help stand out. We could possibly use the date or the season that that particular menu is for. That could be cool. And then we have an example of the interior of your what your space could look like. There's a lot of natural light. We're not going to be having the lights on during the day to let all that natural light in and bring in that greenery. We have those natural wood chairs and tables, an example of that, with an example of just some subtle signage there on the wall for you to see what an icon might look like at a utensils and like to get your napkins and things like that for people. And then we have an example of imagining what your dinner plates might look like, styled and echoing kind of that icon that you can see throughout. Up on the top here, we have an example of what your website layout might look like. This very clean and open and welcoming imagery with subtle typeset and icons. And down below we have your cooks are very passionate and connected to their food and the farmers. And you see this example of this chef very connected to what he's doing and passionate. You see the icon on his uniform there is just can be etched in there. Could look really great. And then we have the side entrance that is peering into the restaurant from the back with the icon that we can get engraved or foiled onto the top. It could be a really nice subtle touch. And then we have a business card example on the very top to give you an idea of what that might look like. Very clean and minimal aesthetic. So we'll take a look to zoom back out here, and I'd just love to hear your thoughts and things that stuck out to you, things that you liked, things that you didn't like as much. I'd love to hear your feedback.
Great job. Great job. All right. All right. Ben, is there any reason why you have to mute me? Are we still getting echo or am I okay?
Yeah, still getting echo. So whenever the audio comes through the system, I think because we're cutting and merging screens, I think we're getting that audio duplicated. So I just keep you muted while they're presenting. It's not as bad during normal dialogue.
That's interesting. Okay. So William, I think you shot out a gate really strong last time we saw your work being presented. And I think you made some adjustments here. I can't remember exactly what you made. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about the design of the layout. I've noticed a pattern here. For some reason, the guys seem to be talking a lot more than they should be, right? Because you can feel like at some point you're just stretching it out too much. It is just stretching it out. Keep it nice, compact. Here's if you're going to err on the side of leaving them wanting more versus having too much.
Okay.
So I can ask questions. I can dive in. I don't know if it's nerves again. It's like the first 2 women that went boom, boom, straight fire. I'm going to have a conversation. It's going to be really nice. Let's just pull back, okay? And
sure,
let's get into it. Okay, so first, the design of the stylescape is very sophisticated. It's very consistent, really beautifully designed. I too would also hire you to do the stylescape for me. I'm not saying that that's anything worthwhile. That's not what you really want me to do, right? But it's really nice. It meets the standard which I'm looking for. There's a couple like little nitpicky things here. The source sign on the far left there, there's a little space above it and below it. It's so uncomfortable for me. I don't know, can we scale it down a little bit so we just have a little bit more room for it to breathe? And everybody's like, I'm in love with the sun-kissed woman in the jacket and the scarf and her beanie. She's walking in someplace, presumably on the farm or something. It just feels really right. I think you're very good at curating and assembling images together that really fit. The color palettes presented very creatively as almost watercolor swatches and abstract. I forget the artist, Paul Klee. Is it Paul Klee? His art. It's pretty amazing. Now, here's the one critique that I have is with the Source Kitchen logo and the lockup, there's a term that I didn't hear before until we met Sagi Haviv, and he's like, it's a slap-on logo. And a slap-on logo is a logo that you just slap on things. So you slap it on the white, you slap it on the sign, you slap it on the wall, on the glass. I would encourage you to try not to do the slap-on logo because it doesn't really take me into bold new territory. I want you to think about ways to reinterpret the logo. For example, the S, circle lockup. Maybe that could be a wire sculpture. And it doesn't have to be exactly that logo. But if you found a sculpture, like, you see this metal wire sculpture that's done by this artist that lives out in the woods or something, we're thinking that you could do that with your logo. Or you want to like stretch me a little bit, and you stretch too. Mm-hmm. And then I think about applications, right? Like if I'm a restaurant owner and I hired you to design my website, what other applications am I not thinking about that you could be doing? How about to-go boxes? How about uniforms, but not just a little emblem on an apron? What about napkins or anything else that you can think of that a restaurant needs? Topography on the walls. Just make me stretch more. Like, I want that. I want to hire William to do all these things for me. And so we have examples, a lot of really great examples, excuse me, by the way, of photography style where it's desaturated. There's a certain kind of lensing and a vibe that I'm getting from all your photos. After I've seen 2 or 3, I got enough. Now I want to see design. I want to see more design. Embrace it. You could easily take out one of the 2 photos from above the chef who's preparing, or the sous chef or whoever that is. Put some design up there. Give me more. Make it dimensional. Make it feel real. When you have too many things that are parallel to the picture plane, things get really flat. Have something tilted in, tumbling in space, something off at an angle. So that ivy wall that you have with the green, and then there's a sign, but the sign is perfectly flat again. So let's look for some mocks that really have some edge or materials or dimension or depth, or is lit or something. Maybe you came across some really cool jars, mason jars, and you're like, what if we served our beverages in the mason jars? Or what if we did XYZ? This is what the bags look like. This is what the to-go containers look like. Everything that you can think of that a restaurant needs, I want you to design. Not design, but curate. That way, they go into it for a $20,000 engagement and they walk away with a $60,000 engagement because they want it all. Like, how do we do this? Right? I went to, I forget what restaurant or cafe or bakery it was, really super hot one, and they have coasters that are printed where you set your drink on, and each one has a funny little message. And that might be an opportunity for you to do some messaging or branding there, where you say, this is where we source the meat from. It's Farmer Abe. And this is who we bought the root vegetables from. And there's a story, and you're trying to tell that story, and you capture the imagination. Like, we never even thought about telling that part of our story. And that's what you want to do. Okay? No,
Awesome.
you're in the pro group as well, so I'm going to say the same thing. You're pretty consistent. I need you to bring 30% more energy.
Okay.
Like you go pretty even
I
across.
could probably bring 50%. Yeah.
Well, I'll take 30 for now, you know? Like, see, now
Yeah.
that you're done presenting, you're smiling and you're having a good time. So, you know, that's infectious. That's what you want. You want people to feel good. So the trick sometimes is just talking a little faster and talking a little bit slower sometimes. And that variance is what gets people to wake up and pay attention. Okay. Awesome job, guys. Awesome job, William. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next person.
Hey, William, I one question for you.
Yep.
Did you forget what the apron was called?
Yes. Totally spaced.
What is
I
it?
totally get that. I do that all the time. It's like I see it, I know what it is, but I have no idea like why I can't figure out the word. My tip for you is when that happens, just be honest about it. It's a great way to like kind of laugh at yourself and in the room with the clients. Like, guys, I don't know why I'm spacing on this, but this piece of the outfit, what do we call this? Apron? God, I don't.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
good way to goof and just kind of like lighten that. Because then if you try and keep it inside and fake it, there's like this moment of panic that you can avoid.
Oh, yeah.
By just kind of making fun of yourself. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben.
All right.
Good
So
tip,
let's
good tip.
see. Sabrina, you are up next. Now, after Sabrina, we have a couple of random picks from the audience. And the first person to get this question right in the chat is going to be able to present. So here's the question. Chris told you about 6 different prompts that you can use to filter out your the words that you use. The first 3 were mild, medium, and spicy. What are the last 3? Dang. Mr. Yassine. Good job.
Come on, Ben.
All right. So Sabrina, go ahead and take it away. Let's go ahead and share your screen real quick. I'm going to work on getting Mr. Yassine here. All right, perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to unmute you, and let's just test your audio real quick.
Sure. Can you hear me?
I can. Guys, are you good? Aaron?
I am almost good. Okay. 1 second. Getting rid of this little thing. Yeah.
Better. Okay, guys. So, hi, Chris.
Hello.
It's great to meet with you again. Our meeting last Friday was fantastic. I got so many feedback that I was able to apply to this current stylescape that you'll be seeing today. And so here we go. In our meeting last week, we spoke about your brand. Okay. Let me breathe for a little bit. Okay. So your brand attributes are rustic, authentic, and industrial. Reservoir Studios, we craft brands that resonate. As you can see, we've pulled together some imagery and some really great typographic systems and color palettes that really resonate with what Reservoir Studios is. We believe that Reservoir Studios is a creative collective made up of critical thinkers, storytellers, and vision makers. We believe that great brands have the power to inspire, connect, communicate, and transcend. Reservoir Studios is a company that crafts digital experiences that captures hearts and creates brand loyalists. We're going to be starting with the interior of what Reservoir is going to feel like. In all honesty, the way my process works is that I actually listen to some pretty cool music to get inspired by a brand. And in your case, I was listening to a lot of 70s funk, R&B, and hip hop samples, like James Brown, like really gritty. And that actually really inspired me to go in the visual direction that you see here. So as you can see, there's a lot of juxtaposition of rough and clean lines, which I think lends itself to some really cool graphical elements. As you see there, there's a great opportunity to create some really cool grids for your layouts, and the visual elements also create fluidity and the juxtaposition of natural and the industrial. We decided that your hero client is someone who is an urban entrepreneur. He's unapologetic about his daily grind. He's a nonconformist. He's unconventional, and he moves through the concrete jungle with focused determination. He's not afraid of the hustle. In fact, the hustle is what motivates him. As you see here on the screen, we really wanted to capture the textural elements of what reservoir would stand for. As you can see in the marketing system, there's a lot of textural elements like a craft paper. It could be done in different colors like opal blue, the concrete grays, and the little marks on your lettering. I was thinking it would be really great to have a copper ochre, possibly like a gold leaf type of effect on that. And you'll see here an overview of the whole stylescape, and I hope that you like what I've presented to you today. And if there's any changes that you want to make, feel free to let me know. And yeah, it was super exciting and great to work for you. Oh, I'm so nervous.
All right. Snaps. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
All right, Sabrina, you all right?
Yes.
I feel like
I hate these things. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, that's
But
okay.
I have to.
It's okay. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yep.
And today is going to be the beginning of a journey for you, so that one day I'm going to see you on TV. I'm like, is that the same Sabrina? Holy cow. She's so confident. She's smooth. What a smooth player. Okay, so there's a couple of things I'm picking up on here. I don't know if it's nerves, if it's you trying to read a script or what, because half the times I think you're reading a script and half the times you're talking to me. And I don't know if you are reading a script, but the times that I feel like you're talking to me, you're natural, you're comfortable, whatever you're doing there, just do that.
Okay.
So are you reading a script?
I am. It's just so
okay.
I tend to forget.
Here's the new rule. Nobody moving forward can read anything. If you read it, we're going to hang up on you instantly.
Okay.
If I see your eyes move away from looking into the camera, then I know you're reading. Do not read. Okay? I'm telling you guys, it's a crutch. It's a crutch, and you don't want to do that. I have no idea who this is for, but I could present this for you right now. So you got to get to that state. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Couple of things here. There's actually quite a few things here. So your words are rustic, authentic, and industrial.
Yes.
It's not a perfect one-on-one alignment here for me in terms of those words, and some of these visuals are how you're treating them because of this hexagonal diagonal bias that you're putting everything in. It makes everything feel really sharp. Okay? So that's one thing. When I take a snap back and I look at it all, it looks like it's beautiful, great design. But I'm really trying to pick apart, as this is my roadmap moving forward. There are things left to be desired here, okay? So I think sometimes these diagonals are very hard to work with because it makes the composition super tricky and it makes it more complicated than it needs to be. I applaud you for doing it, but these are the exact reasons why when you get too many diagonals, it becomes really tough. Focus your eye on the third right of this, right above the wooden reservoir plaque. There's a lot of shapes going on there and more images in there, and they're very similar types of images with density, the same density. It makes it really hard for me to focus. While on the other hand, there's this really cool, beautiful brochure that's opened up But I can't even see that because there's just so much stuff that's everything is saying, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Okay. So
Okay.
more breathing space.
You got to pull that back. If we're talking about rustic, authentic, industrial, this doesn't feel like that. This feels like it's too much. It's too much. Okay. Now, the office that you have on the far right with the steel casement, what is that called? Torrance windows and doors and the industrial light fixtures, that definitely feels like rustic industrial, but how are you pulling that into the rest of the design?
Okay.
It feels like that's left on an island to the far right, and everything else is the things that we picked. When you're showing the design, like reservoir, the badge itself, don't make that so big. The bigger you make something, the more people feel like you're really committed to this right now.
Okay.
Okay? So make things a lot smaller. That can easily be half the size and still be fine.
Okay.
That means that we have more room to play. And I want you to be very aware of values. Like when things are in a similar value, they just all blend in. Darkness on top of darkness on top of darkness. And things are going to have a really hard time popping. So don't use this dark brown ochre color over this steel blue rusty thing that you have. Because if you squint your eyes, do the squint test. If you squint your eyes, everything crushes together. And then you can barely pick things apart. That's really critical.
Okay.
You're really, more than anything, controlling where the eye looks through the design. Okay?
Okay.
So there's a couple things. So obviously there were some long, wide gaps between the things that you wanted to say, probably because you were improvising, and the things that you wanted to read. And it's really distracting for you because you're like, oh, am I supposed to read this part now? Well, you just need to be here, right? You just need to be here. And I want every single person now to make the intentional practice of not using space fillers. And like, so those are the 5 things you're not supposed to use when you're giving a TED Talk. So what you practice in your daily conversation is what you'll wind up saying when you go to present. Be totally okay with the silence.
Yes.
You know how I'm totally okay with that? So people use the to kind of try to fill the gaps between the thoughts, and that's totally okay. Much better for you to use the build-up technique. You build it up and you burst it out. Build it up, you burst it out, and it's totally okay. Right?
Cool.
Okay, this is your presentation. You own this. You got this. Believe in the work, and you're good to go. The last little tip I'm going to give you is this, is that don't say to them at the end, I hope you love the design and presentation. Now you're putting a lot of pressure for me just to say yes.
Okay.
I want you to downplay how final this design is. And you can even say literally this, okay? Everybody's taking this class. Literally, you could say this. I know these designs look really finished and refined, but bear in mind, we only spent 24 hours putting them together. And the reason why we do that is because we don't want to go too far down the path without getting your input. So let's have a real conversation about the things that you like and especially the things that you do not like. And right now, everything's up for discussion. But we hope by having listened to you and coming to the attributes together that we're going to be on the same page. But if not, I'm willing to do whatever it needs to be done. Okay? Don't say this is the final presentation. I hope you love it. If you say that, I'm conditioned to tell you I love it. And what's going to happen? The 11th hour, they're going to call you and say, we're changing our mind about something. We don't like this thing. And you're thinking, oh my God, why didn't you tell me before? Guess what? You didn't give them space to tell you. That's really, really important. Okay, let's move on.
All right, Chris, do you have another trivia question that you want to ask the crew?
No, because you didn't prepare me for that.
I didn't. I just threw you right in. Did you see that bus? Just came through. Yeah.
Yeah. I can ask him lots of trivia questions, but I need a minute to think about it.
Okay. While you do that, Mr. Yassine, go ahead and unmute. Let's check your audio. Go ahead and share your screen. Let's get this thing going.
According to Blair Enns, how many times are you supposed to kill the engagement? 1.
In the chat.
3. In the chat. Oh, they already said it, Ben. See, you just backed me with in the chat. They already know the answer.
All right.
But it's the same person, isn't it?
No, it's Jacob.
Jacob, all right.
All
Jacob,
right.
your hand was on the buzzer first. You'd be up next.
All All right.
Can everyone hear me well?
Yes.
Hear you. Okay, go ahead and share
All
your
right.
screen.
So,
There should be a green button bottom of your screen right in the middle.
Was there? It was there, but disappeared. One sec. Share. Okay. Yeah. So, oh, okay. Wow. So I think this is it. There we go. So now I just need to play. Okay.
Yeah, give me a
Hi.
sec to catch up with you.
So we create experiences that connect with humanity. I mean, this is why we're here. This is what we really, want to do, and this is how we want to sort of differentiate ourselves from our audience. This is sort of discussed, Chris, last time we met. So in brand attributes exercise, we found 3 words that would really connect with this sort of vision that we have. Human, and it's this idea of embracing the humanity of not just our customers but their users. So how can we actually connect on a sort of deeper level? How can we embrace small things that make them human in the way that we design and the way that we serve them? Dynamic is an important word because it's about how we're not really trendy. It's not about being trendy. It's about being able to adapt and evolve over time, and being able to adapt to the changing conditions of sort of the market, or maybe even the different kind of customers that would come to us, and as well their different users. And finally, clarity. A big part of what we do is strategy. And the purpose of this is to bring clarity to our clients and to bring clarity to their vision. So this is the stylescape that I designed. It's just a sort of simple overview on what our branding could look like. I'm very excited to share it with you and hear your feedback, because this is something that's collaborative. It's not that something that I just present with you. Everything here is temporary, and everything here can be changed. But let's just go through it to see what we like and what we dislike, and sort of the story that we're trying to tell here. So let's start here. So Yaqub Designs, my name is Yaqub, and we design digital products for humans. So the small goal, you should treat your customer with the utmost empathy, understand them, and give them an experience that truly speaks to their needs. So this is this idea of empathy, this humanity aspect is what we really want to push with our clients. And this is our client. His name is Adam. He's in his 30s. He has a small to medium enterprise. So he just got out of this whole startup kind of phase. So now his company is a bit mature, and he's looking to sort of go to the next level with his users, with his customer base. And so so the 4 colors we have wait, because I kind of wrote this down. So we have dark stone, aquamarine, post-it, and sandstone. And we feel like these colors are sort of neutral enough, but at the same time, they have like a vibrant pop that can, grab attention and differentiate. So you can see here that there's always these 2 sides to every user, 2 sides to every story. And we want to make sure that we don't take anything that we do at face value, anything that our customer tells us at face value, and we should really explore deeper. And this is starting from our own customer, we could see sort of their 2 sides. And what we want to encourage is this poster here that says, make this. And what this is the intersection between what you love as a customer and what the people want. And what they want, it can actually go deeper to what they need based on our sessions and our research sessions that we could do with them. And you could see here that there's the kind of visuals I'm trying to use is these small collage-like elements with photos and some colors to kind of express a sense of flow. I think this is okay. There's something that it's the overlay of the that's covering the rest of the stylescape. That was confused. So yeah, so you could see and this idea of this hand that's pouring sort of the content from our customer to his customers, to his users. And there's a big question here about the user, like who are they, and who are you to them? So this is an important question that we want to figure out, and why. And the way that we figure this out is through our several sessions, our the workshops that we do, and so the interactive that our customers are directly involved in, and the idea is that we want to sort of bring clarity and hopefully in the end build a product that gets a high rating and that you can use and enjoy. So yeah, so I'm really excited to see what you kind of think, and let's just discuss what we like and what we dislike so we can improve on it. Thank you. So yeah, this is an overview, and thanks.
Okay, all right. And scene. Okay, you guys are getting a little bit better about like the quick presentation. It still feels long. I want you to time yourself for 1 minute and see if you can get this thing done in 1 minute. You guys are talking way, way too much. And I think we'll take the blame for this because Ms. Ben Burns and I said 6 minutes, but that's never how long you would ever present. You're talking for 6 minutes, you're talking for 5 minutes too long. All right, let's talk about the deck. I think it's strange choice for you to use 3 words, but use 2 typefaces. It really puts too much emphasis on one of your type sets. So human, and it's an interesting typeface. What typeface is that?
It's called Utopia.
Utopia? Just use Utopia or the other one for
so
all.
I found it on Adobe on Typekit.
Yeah, I like it. It's nice. It has, it's kind of a fat serif typeface, really chunky, big A, what is that called? The dot on the A. That's really nice. Okay, let's get into the deck itself. I'll give you a short crit, and then I'll talk about your presentation style. Jakob, have I met you in Egypt before? Or no?
Yeah.
I have, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting all Skype voice on me. I can't even hear you.
Yeah, you did. We met in Egypt.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Let's get right there. Let's spark right here. Okay. Are you UX designer? I can't remember.
Sort of. Like I would say, yeah, but I'm trying to shift right now more to sort of strategy. So it's okay. Like between these two, but like because I can't really sell myself as just strategy. So I'm trying to basically market digital products but from a strategic perspective, basically.
That's fine. And who is this? Your customer type right here? This guy, this gentleman?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Okay, more or less.
Yeah, Tim.
It's either more or less. I mean, people say more or less, like yes or no. Like no, tell me an answer. Is it yes?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Okay. Does this reflect the lifestyle of this person? Are we profiling this person, building a stylescape for them?
No, I mean this because this is where I got confused. Like this is not about the person. Like I made it about what we would like give to the person, like the kind of process that we'd go through with the person.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Here's where you are, and here's where your clients are. And if the clients are over here, and this is their world, and they don't speak this language, for you to tell them more about this language is not going to help you. So I was trying to give you guys an extra layer of marketing and positioning and user profiling within this course. So it's really, really important that you do this because when I look at this gentleman, what kind of car is he driving?
Is that rhetorical or should I?
No, I'm asking you. Literally, I'm asking you. What kind of car is he
so
driving?
Maybe a Toyota.
A Toyota? Is this the person that's going to hire you?
Yeah.
Okay. And does he manage the company?
Yes. But it's a small company, but yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of important that you kind of reflect his world, his views, his design, his aesthetics. This was an empathy exercise as well. So there's things that you love, and then there's things that they love. And if the worlds are too far apart, you're not going to get any love in terms of money. Really, really important, okay? So I just want you to factor that into your thinking next time. So the same comment goes where you have a primary typeface and Utopia, and then a secondary typeface, which is that sans serif typeface, right? And that's a nice pairing, but I think you need to control that. It seems like sometimes they're fighting each other right now. So the clarity, humanity or human, and then dynamic, that's all kind of getting jumbled there. You also have this kind of really interesting and slightly odd outer body, weird overprinting of the blue person, and it's almost like he has two heads.
Yeah.
A little strange. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, okay? From both a design and a conceptual point of view. It almost feels like he's a two-headed monster.
Trying to show this idea of, okay.
Of what?
The idea of this is to show this kind of, two sides, that it's not just a person who they are, that there's also another side, another part to this person and to their customer.
Okay, there's an easier way to do this that isn't as visually jarring, I think, is you could take a person in a suit or in a person in a very casual outfit and just split them down the middle and say, there you go. The overlapping, the overprinting is saying, is this a design technique or is this a metaphor? And they don't overlap enough except for over their head, so it looks really strange to me personally, okay? And then the other thing I want you to do is there's not enough design in this. If you were to give this to some junior designer and say, go build me a website or an app, there would not be enough here for them to pull away from this. And that's one of the big parts of a stylescape. This is a little too spare. Okay? You saw some of the other stylescapes I presented, and if it wasn't remotely dense enough for me, I'm going to tell people you need more examples of design. So you most definitely need more examples of design because I still don't get a good sense of the design aesthetic. Is it going to be modern? Is it going to be minimalistic? Is it going to be justified left? Is it going to be aggressive and juxtaposed topography? I don't know. There's a lot of space used for not a lot of information. So almost 2/3 of your stylescape, it's a guy and two hands pouring water and spilling and lines from a map. See what I'm saying? So I want you to direct them through this journey that by the time you finish presenting this thing, they're going to say, wow, hot dog, I can't believe how cool we're going to be. I'm ready to give you all my money. Take it all, please.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to excite me. You need to be able to use this as also a roadmap to do design. Because I saw in the chat earlier, people were saying, how do we go from here to actual design? And if you're not clear enough in this stage, good luck on the next stage. The whole point of doing this is so that when you do design, you have great confidence that the clients already love the design direction. You got to give me posters. You have to give me website designs. You have to give me more stuff for me to say, yes, I really get the vibe. This is super awesome. I'm all in. Go to the next step, please. Okay? Now, we had some connection problems. We had a little connection problem. So I heard almost all of it, but every once in a while, your voice got a little Skypey. I'm sure things would have made more sense if I could hear all of it, but that's something we all have to be mindful of, is to make sure we have a good internet connection.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. All right.
Can I
Who's up
ask
next?
just a quick question?
Go ahead, ask one question.
Yeah. So if because I'm doing this for a customer, and each customer would have their own branding. So how do I make sure that, like, if I do this and I do it in a certain kind of visual style, that this is not, that it just doesn't it doesn't overpower somehow the client's own branding?
Well, usually the client's coming to you because their branding is not on point. They have a problem, usually a design problem. And then you profile their customers and you say, well, this is what your customers want. You're basically doing the same thing I just did to you, which is say, we can love our own branding today and get no more new customers. And according to our last meeting, sales are flat and in a state of decline, while young upstarts are skyrocketing past us. What are we going to do? Do you want to do more of the same? Or are you ready for something different? So when we do 3 stylescapes, when you do the mild, medium, and spicy, mild is kind of really close to what you think they want. And then spicy is the one that's getting really far from what they want, but it still fits within the brief. And then the mild one, or I'm sorry, the medium one's the one in the middle. So you would have at least 3 to present and talk about so that they feel like, wow, you're right. This does feel really boring compared to like where we could be. And I'm really excited about the future. You're supposed to help them build that bridge between where they are and where they'd like to be. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I hope when you go and watch this again and you watch the first round of stylescapes and you watch how we present stylescapes to our actual client and you see the critique here, you'll start to feel like, okay, there's a game here and I'm starting to figure it out now. It's going to start to click.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay.
All right, awesome job.
Next
Okay,
up is
so-
Yinpin, right?
Yep. Next up, and Yinpin is actually the last one that we have today.
Hey, so finish strong, Yinpin.
All right, no pressure
Yeah,
though.
thanks.
No pressure.
I want you to represent Shima. I want you to represent all the dudes. I need you to bring straight fire. 1 minute is what you got on the clock. Don't stumble through this. You got this. Take a deep breath or 2 or 3 or 10 if you need it, and let us know when you are ready to go.
Okay, let me share the screen. Share. All right, can you see this?
Yes, we can, but give it a second. Wait for Aaron.
1 sec. 1 sec. All right. Oh wait, sorry.
Aaron, don't say all right. Just say go.
Stalling.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay, go.
Okay, hi Chris. So thanks for taking the time. So based on our last week, we have nailed down the 3 keywords for what represents your brand. And these are the key 3 words, bold, intense, and focus. So what I'll be showing you next is this stylescape called Laser. And disclaimer, so nothing here will be set in stone. So whatever that you like, let me know. Whatever that you don't like, do let me know, so that we'll be making the changes as we go. So let's dive right in. So this is the entire stylescape along with the colors. So let's take a look at the left side. What you see here are the colors. So what we have here is laser red, black, mil-spec gray, and reticle green. So what you told me was your target audience would be people who want to take charge for themselves, people who in the face of danger, they run towards it. The people who serve, not just themselves, but the public as well. So that's where bold comes in. And you can see here that some of the applications here, because you wanted to market products to these people. So some applications here include like survival notebooks, stationery, name cards, and print finishes. And when you want to do road shows and presenting to the tribe that you want to serve, you would want to use not a Ford Focus, but a Ford Mustang or F-150. And with regards to applying this design onto online apps, like for ordering, there's a similar palette for that as well. So there's a very dark with crimson highlights. And the green is there to bring out, to highlight the stuff that you really want. And some of the nice touches include these carbon fiber paracord bracelets. And some of the stuff that I figured that we could do with your warehouse is some cool signage like this, stuff that stands out, like really high visibility. And you told me something about us selling to the entire world because your products will go worldwide. So why not have something to physically represent the market that you're serving, the whole world? And so what is it that you like and dislike? What are the parts that you could work on, and what are the parts that we could go ahead on? Just let me know. Thanks.
Okay, all right. Okay. Look, you're still alive. No bullets in your check. No blood. No, you're still good. Woo, you got it. All right. Let's go on the wide one, please. Go on the wide. I want to critique this a little bit. I want to say that when you started off really strong. Yinpin, are you from Singapore?
I'm from Malaysia.
From Malaysia.
Just north of Singapore.
Okay, it's a very similar accent. I pick it up. Okay. All right, very good. So when you started off, I love that you said nothing is set in stone, nothing is concrete, and I love that because that just said everything. And you start off really strong, naming the colors. You got into it, and somewhere in there you started to fade on me. I don't know what happened, and I feel like you're trying to make more out of not a lot. So just don't worry. clients can feel that, like, oh, he's just gonna pile it on now. Here,
Yep.
the shovel's gotten out, and he's digging one, throwing it over the shoulder. All right. So you don't want to do that. Don't do that. Okay. Now, there's two parts to this. There's your presentation, and there's the stylescape itself. The stylescape, I think, if I'm going to be a fair grader, I'm going to give you like a C+ on this. I want the design to be more sophisticated, and it can be, even for laser, even for Pew Doodles. I don't even know what Pew Doodles is, but it sounds really cool. I think there's a good and fun way to do this without it being a certain kind of vibe that there's something that feels already really old about this design aesthetic, this oblique typeface and a very stylized typeface that it's going to feel dated really, really fast. So I just want to caution you about that, okay? Usually, if you want to use bold colors, you want to balance that with really sophisticated Swiss design. If you want to use one tricky typeface, don't use any more tricky typefaces. Something's on an angle, everything else is straight. Like, it's too much. It's like, this should be called laser overload. Aaron, laser overload, right? I mean, because that's really what it is. There's the lens flares. There's a rocket ship. There's a super buff guy with his biceps and his triceps popping. There's just too much stuff. All right. So what you want to do is find some more sophisticated design and use the red and the green very sparingly. Just a touch or a hint of color. Otherwise, it becomes too much. Okay. So I want you to take another stab at this stylescape and really try to integrate the designs together, because it does feel like there's 3 or 4 different design languages that you're using, and they're not all coming together right now. And that's really critical for you. Okay. What is Pew Doodles?
Actually, Pew Doodles is actually my own
company
brand for illustration.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would like to do is I would like to do design for companies in the US that manufacture stuff like holsters, belts, equipments for the people who are there who carry survivalist stuff.
Oh, like tactical gear?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh my God, this does not look like tactical gear to me. Ben, help me out here. Ben, Mr. Burns, this does not feel like it. I thought you were going like in the video game space or esports or something. So now that you're saying this more, there's a mismatch here. I just don't get it. Because if you want to work with international clients, tactical gear feels more military. It feels a lot more utilitarian. And there's a rich visual language that you can pick from. It's almost like non-design design.
Yeah,
okay.
Ethan, I'll put some companies in the chat for you.
Yeah, Ben's going to help you. He's going to throw an alley-oop for you to slam dunk that thing, and you're going to see you're in a different universe. So here's what I'm getting from both Jakub and you, in that maybe we need to spend a little bit more time profiling our customer, looking at the world through their eyes, not through our eyes, figuring out the visual language and finding something interesting in there and building it off of that. And you have to stretch too. You need to stretch yourself to find an aesthetic that's sophisticated, that's engaging, and that really feels right for your target market. And I'm not sure that you're on it on this one, okay? A lot of credit for you on how you started, how you framed the conversation is really clear. And then at the end, you started to like stretch it too far. There's only a few things left for me to talk about, but you made it last really long. And I could feel it. And then you can say, okay, I guess I'm done. Thank you very much. Let me get off the stage. You don't want to do that. You want to end on a high note, right? And you're like, that's what I got for you. I hope you guys like laser and just get out.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Well done. Okay, Mr. Burns, what else are we doing now?
That's it. That concludes the live component of this course. So
Okay.
Logistically, guys, before Chris says his final bit, we're hopefully going to be uploading everything into the course next week. So look out for that. I'll send you guys an email. And just want to say thank you for being awesome and
Awesome.
showing up. So that's me.
Yeah. What happened? We did a little crossfade there, or something funny just happened there. It's like Aaron is telling you, get off, man, get out. Okay, everybody. There will be components and parts to this. As we work on this, we'll add more things, we'll modify things. That's the beauty of an organic living course like the ones that we have. Of course, if you guys give us your feedback with further questions, we care what you feel and think, and we want to make sure you guys go out there and you slay it. So if there's something that's puzzling you, make sure you guys talk amongst yourselves, figure it out, If you can't figure it out, make sure it bubbles up to Ben, and then Ben will eventually bring it to my attention, and we'll go back in, we'll revise whatever. So here's some key takeaways. I want to try and summarize the entire course for you right now, okay? I want you to think of the stylescape as not a means, or I'm sorry, I want you to think of the stylescape as something that you do to celebrate this kind of visual communication between you and the client, and you're figuring things out together. The old relationship is you stand on this side, the client stands on this side, and you try to fight it out. The new relationship is you both stand on the same side, you're looking in the same direction, we're gonna have a conversation together. So I'm gonna pretend like I'm presenting a stylescape. There's no stylescape for me to present here, but I might begin at something like this. I wanna start with an emotion. This is how I feel. I wanna prime them for how they should react, and then I wanna get right into it, and then I wanna get out. So let me show you how that might work, okay? John, Mary, I'm super excited to present these stylescapes to you. First, I hope you didn't spend too much time looking at it, because now I'm gonna walk you through this really quickly. I wanna set the tone and intention for what I'm gonna do. These stylescapes may look really refined and finished on the surface, but they're really just me finding the best bits of design examples that I think could be your brand. So let's try it on for size. If you like something, let me know. If you don't, tell me as well. Nothing here is concrete, as my friend would say. Let's dive into it. So I'm gonna walk you through your user persona. These are the 3 words we talked about, A, B, and C. And let me tell you how I interpret that through these images. So I picked this design because I think we could do something exciting about this for some of the applications we talked about. And even though we're not thinking about interior design, I pulled this reference because I imagine that someday in the future, you might open up a retail store. These components of this app or this interface really could be like a cool way for us to handle the drop-down menu and packaging on this side, signage over here. And so I think that pretty much sums up the visual language that we think would really fit for what it is that you're doing. Let's move on to option number 2. And then you would just go on and just repeat it. Let me know if we need to stop for a minute for you to ask questions, or should I proceed with options 2 and 3? Fine. You want me to keep going? I got it. Option 2. And that's how you would do that, okay? Remember, a lot of you guys, I think, are scared of design. You don't know how to integrate lots of different designs together, and you're not showing enough design so that it will come back to bite you in the butt, because you'll get into deep design or development and you'll realize you should have brought something up. Or you'll give this stylescape to a team member, on-site, off-site, and they'll work on it for days and come back with something. And you're like, what did you do? Why would you do this? And you look at your own stylescape. Was that a clear enough roadmap? Were there enough clues as to how this is supposed to shape? Or would you leave too much for the imagination? Don't do this to finish it. Do it because it's a tool that you're never going to use. You're never going to do another project without doing it. I didn't say that well. Ben, how should I say that?
I'm over here answering people's questions.
All right, you keep answering people's questions. That's fine. I'm not speaking English, and you're not focused on me. You're focused on something else. When done properly, you will never want to present again without using stylescapes. So do it properly. That's it for me, guys.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. I was trying to answer questions really quickly. Follow up with us on the Slack channel in the Stylescapes channel. Love to see you there. And there's a whole bunch of talk in the chat right now about buddying up with each other. Do that. Practice. Yeah. Practice. That is such a good idea. Practice with each other, because the more you do this, the easier it is.
Yes. So what's coming up next? There's some question about what's coming up next. I don't know if you guys have already seen the newly recorded and edited version of the same thing that we did live. Next up, we're editing the Stylescape screen recording. I have to do some commentary on that. That'll drop next week. I also need to edit the client session and do commentary on top of that. And then last is a couple of quick Photoshop tutorials on how to cut things out, how to do quick color correction on things. And that'll be the last thing that we deliver, okay? We'll be rolling it out, guys. Please be patient with us. There's a lot of stuff we're trying to do, so just bear with us.
Absolutely. All right. Okay. So Chris, final thoughts?
That's it. I already gave my final thoughts. Hope everyone has a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.